Dry air, dry land, desert encroachment, scorching unbearable heat, little to no water, poor crop yield, hunger, poverty, suffering, climate change. Our world is changing faster than we are. Do we watch and wait for the worst to happen, or do we proactively save our earth together?
Dry season is trouble in Maigatari. That is when the weather is hot during the day and hotter during the night. And that is when our wells dry off. During the rainy season, the differences is not much. It is still very hot or very cold. It is always two extremes. There is no in between. And this is because of desert encroachment from the Sahara Desert made worse by deforestation done by the people. The thing about climate change in Maigatari is that it is not only humans who suffer the effects on their skin, but our crops and the land suffer it too. There are crops which no longer yield, and the ones that yield are very poor. This means not enough food and less income. Human beings suffer climate change the most. And yet we keep destroying our climate or ignoring warnings to do something about it.
I am Babangida Dauda. I am an academic and activist. I am passionate about community development. I am 34 years old. I learned about activism and community development activities during my university days. When I come back home, I learned that our major challenge in my community is climate change. So I started working on it, first by organizing youth of like mind and establish a youth association or organization called Niger Youth Reform. We call it MAYORE. The organization is having to do or is dealing with 3 sectors of the development: education, health, and climate change. On climate change, we engage ourselves in doing climate actions like educating people about the nature impacts of climate change.
I grew up seeing my community stagnated due to climate change as a result of deforestation, and it was always a concern for me. After I graduated university, I was motivated to use my skills to bring young people together to work towards making a change in the area of education, empowerment, health, and the environment. And that was how Maigatari Youth Reform, MAYORE, was formed. So through MAYORE, we have planted 500 trees across Maigatari in our bid to solve the issue of climate change. Our vision is to have a greener Maigatari. My name is Dr. Dauda Babangida. I am an environmental activist and a sociologist in Maigatari, Jigawa State, Nigeria.
Maigatari town is about 200 years old. Most of the settlers are Hausa Fulani people and are Muslims. We share a border with the Niger Republic, and we are almost the same community, because before the coming of the Western people, we are the same community who share the same language, the same skin color, the same religion, and a lot of belief systems. Because we are family, it's like we do a lot of economic, social, and political activities together. If I could remember, a lot of people that are from Niger Republic, they own land in Nigeria, and the people that are in Nigeria, especially Maigatari, the local government area, they also own farms in Niger Republic. So we are doing well in terms of relationship. I think the changes come into being after some negative or adverse effect of climate change that affected the quality and the quality of our soil or the fertility level of our soil. So now there is a kind of violent conflict between us, in the sense that many people in Niger Republic think that they cannot allow us to go to their countries and farm. And also people from Nigeria also are thinking the same, that people from Niger cannot come and own land in our place and farm. So as far as I could remember, the violent conflict started mainly due to climate change. But a lot of our people up to now do not understand the main causes of the conflicts. But after I conducted a study which is qualitative in nature, I found out that the main cause of the conflict is changes in the quality of the soil, which our people no longer have a kind of, in terms of the quality and the quantity of the farm produce is low now. So people can no longer now engage in commercial farming. What we are doing is subsistence farming, and even the subsistence farming is going weak and delicate, in the sense that people cannot even farm what they are going to eat, even for some months.
The local government and the private individuals are digging boreholes to help the community. Traders import farm produce to Maigatari to sell. This way we have access to food items other than grains, although they are usually quite expensive.
Actually, living along the border is fascinating because it gives us access to international business or cross-border trade activities. For example, in Maigatari we have a kind of international market. We have a big cattle market and other camels, donkeys, and the grains market, which the level of transaction financially is more than 1 billion naira. This gives our local government access to high revenue generation, which also positively is impacting the local government and the state at large. But sadly, we are marginalized as people living in the border.
Yes, Maigatari is marginalized. We are even discriminated against. We once had a sitting governor who said we are all foreigners in Maigatari. He did well in other parts of the state, but excluded Maigatari in most aspects of infrastructural development. We did not have federal roads for over 20 years either, but recently they started renovating the roads. We are suspecting it is because of the elections. We do not have constant power supply. Our water supply is very, very poor. We have schools, but not good ones. And our general hospital has no scanning machines, no surgery, no dialysis, no medical doctors, just community health workers. Our families and friends are here. Also, I believe being hopeful is just in our nature. We are very optimistic people, and we are hopeful that the government or well-meaning individuals will help and support us in changing the status quo for good. But the main thing keeping us happy is being with our families and friends in the same struggle.
Our people are actually optimistic in nature. So, looking at our nature, we always think that positive things are coming. And if our youth can get the necessary education and the skill sets, they will be able to harness or change the impacts of climate change and all other negative effects on the community. And we have this kind of community bound or social consciousness where we love each other and we love our community. So I am sure that we are going to do our best to make sure that our community is on right position. And looking at some of our efforts like the Maigatari Youth Reform, our organization is doing its best, or we are doing our best to make sure that we educate our people, we make them be self-reliant and self-consciousness at the same time, so that they can depend on themselves and they can positively impact the community development. Our effort has always been to make Maigatari greener. We are able to convince government at state and local government level to provide us with infant trees, and we are able to share it to the public and to convince the public to plant them. We educate them about the pertinence of planting the trees, even though we suffer about water supply. So we also plant these trees ourselves. We collected them from government, we planted them. We also convinced government to hire some people to plant them in some areas. But the issue in Maigatari is desertification. Sahara, there is always a desert encroachment coming from the Niger Republic, and this is affecting our soil. And unfortunately, apart from the desert, also we have some people who never understand the impact of climate change. They are still cutting our trees. If I could remember, there is these happenings all over the town, and we are also able to convince the government to make sure that whoever found cutting tree is punished accordingly. And we are also educating the people about the adverse or negative effects of cutting the trees. And we are telling them that it is pertinent for them to plant more and more trees and water them. They are good for the environmental health.
Some of the trees are grown, some are still growing, but Maigatari is not growing enough. Most of the trees are not growing as they should because of the water supply challenge. Most households cannot afford watering the trees as required because they need the water in their household as well. Some of them buy water which they cannot afford. so they are not willing to buy water to water trees. But with mobile holes and a sustainable water supply, the initiative will do even better.
Climate change is a severe global problem traveling from place to place, which will affect us all in the long run. Whether it is planting a tree, saving a tree, preserving our lands, saving energy, recycling, educating ourselves and others, we must all join hands and lend our voices to prevent and fight climate change. Together, we can do it.
I want the people of Maigatari and even the rest of the world to care more about climate change and take action in preventing and stopping it. I hope that through my contribution with MAYORE, people become proactive in making our community greener. I hope that the government and the notable people also join in our cause to make our environment bearable and our land fertile once again. I believe that my vision is not out of reach. It is possible if we care more and do more about the situation.